Before passage of the health care law, President Obama routinely promised that the average family would save over $2,000 on their premiums. Would you agree today that this simply is not true? Every family will see premium decreases. Some will see increases. Yes?
Well, Mr. Pitts, I think that the President talked about health care costs going down for Americans. I think that we have adequately documented that health care costs indeed have gone down based on the trajectory that we would have seen absent the Affordable Care Act. Underlying health costs are rising at the slowest rate in 50 years. Medicare costs have risen at the slowest rate. Medicaid costs have actually come down per capita throughout the country, and private insurance rates are rising at the lowest level that they have in decades. So Americans are seeing a very different cost trajectory than they would have absent the passage of the Affordable Care Act.
My time has expired. Thank you, Madam Secretary, for your responses. Chair now recognizes the ranking member, Mr. Pallone, 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, Madam Secretary, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but you know, this whole idea that that we hear from the Republicans that the world's turned upside down and this ACA is a disaster. It's just the opposite. I mean, as you point out, health care costs are going down. Rates are rising at a less of a level. You know, this whole idea of, the president saying if you like it, you could keep it. I mean, the president didn't say that if you had a lousy health insurance policy that didn't cover everything, that he was suggesting that, insurance companies continue to sell it and therefore you buy it. I mean, I was at the Rules Committee the other day when the president issued his executive order, and I had one of my colleagues from Florida, one of my Republicans colleagues, talk about how his constituents should have the freedom, she used the word freedom, to keep his or her health plan that costs $60 a month. And I asked, well, what is this health plan? It didn't include hospitalization. I don't think the president meant that you should have the freedom to keep a health insurance plan that didn't include hospitalization. I mean, if you want it, his executive order says you can do it. But I think it's absurd to keep arguing over these lousy skeletal plans. In any case, the reality is that enrollment